From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And you know who I got with me today? It's Monday, none other than the Don of Cape Cod himself, Jeff Dawson, Mr. ECSI, East Coast Sports Investors. Y'all go ahead and give him a round of applause.
What is up, Pops? It's Monday, and we're super stoked here. We're grinding through the dog days of summer, coming off our 7th out of 8th week of profit, banged out a 7 and a 0.29 units for the week last week, closed out with our Sunday action parlay, closed them out with the third wheel, your Dodgers barks the wire. So super excited. We're less than 3 weeks away from really throwing the pigskin around and getting ready for some NFL NCAF, my brother.
Man, you know what? You're reading my mind, Jeff, because I just really, they got me so they want me to focus in on these boxing matches and all this stuff that's going on this month and everything. But I'm kind of like, you know what? That's good. That's cute. That's great. I know I cover this stuff, but I gotta have my brain on the money or what delivers each week for your boy. And that's this pigskin, man. And you know that. And we have the pigskin with the playoff with the best part of baseball during the season, and then we're gonna get a little bit of some NBA action in between all this stuff because the NBA is gonna start back late October, and I know that we're gonna have some baseball games going in November at least. Then we have them going last year in November as well.
It usually the last game will want to end by Halloween. Right. That's usually the way it is. They shut it down October 31st. That's usually would be Game 7, and then November 1st again would you're going into the third month of the NFL, the third month of the NCAF. You got the NBA and the start of NHL, and November 1st, by the way, now is the official kickoff day for NCAA college basketball. That's so it just. As much as we despise the pandemic, it's kind of really created some new scheduling, and it's nonstop every day.
Right. Well, at least they're giving us an extra game in the NFL as well too. So you know what, we can't be mad about anything that's going on in that world right now. So pretty much, let's go ahead and jump into it, Jeff. And you know what, I didn't talk about the Olympics a lot. I wanted to wait till the end of the Olympics because I just didn't really get into the whole, political situation about it. And you know what? I know this is going to sound bad, but I don't care because you know what? I don't try to be somebody that just is going to hold things to themselves when I feel like it needs to be said. I think that the Olympics were a lot of excuses coming from America, and they still won by 28 medals. It was a lot of excuses in the first week of the Olympics with your favorites losing. And everybody had some type of excuse for them losing instead of just admitting that they lost and not understanding how difficult of a stage it is at the Olympics, especially when you're used to having fans at this event. And the event was deader than a doorknob. It really was. I think I was the most entertained by women's volleyball. And that's not because they had a bunch of cuties playing. It's because how competitive it was. And I felt like they didn't have anybody to sit up there and say, well, if they lose today, it's the end of the world. You know what I mean? Gymnastics always had a tough ride going into this year. China had a very, very good team. You know what I mean? They still have that bitter taste in their mouth from the last few Olympics going against the U.S. And you already know the ROC, not Rockefeller Records, not Damon Dash and Jay-Z, but the ROC, the Russian Olympic Committee. You know that they were back for business. You know, they struggled in the last Olympics because they had to send have everybody home. But this time around, they had the athletes ready, and this felt like more of a competition between the superpowers. It was all about Russia, USA, and China. That's it. Everybody else was kind of just there. And that's why I really didn't care to participate in talking about the Olympics on a daily basis, Jeff. And that's just my 2 cents right there.
You know, I think us as U.S. fans, we live here, we eat, sleep, drink 24/7, 365 here. We're spoiled, and and we're really, really spoiled. We have icons in every sport, and we think that our guys are our icons, are whatever you want to call them, are the best of the best. And you know, sometimes we do it here in Boston all the time. We overvalue and overprice our talent. And, you know, so with Osaka in tennis and Simone Biles in gymnastics, it became the first week all about the mental health and taking care of yourself, putting yourself in front of the games. I found myself most attracted to in the first week. The swimming was phenomenal.
Right.
Had so much fun there. And then I got caught up in the golf. It was great to watch the golf.
Yes.
We talked about the basketball, and we talked 2 weeks ago on your show about the fact that I said the kids need to be there. Listen, the U.S. wins the gold. I'll say it as easy so everyone here listening can understand. Ourselves are like tea bags, okay? We only get working and moving when we're in hot water, okay?
Right.
They had the best talent, and I'm so glad they won for this reason and this reason only. If they would have lost, then in come all the trolls and all the rest of the world. Well, we didn't send our best team there. LeBron wasn't there. This guy wasn't there. Enough's enough, okay? You had the best team on paper. I was hoping Luka made it to the finals, and he sunk 60 on you, and they won. How's that sound? You know, I mean, they were trying to be the story. You know, it's like this. When a 1-9 walks onto the track and you got 11 other horses and you go thoroughly through the 11 other horses and try to find a reason why this 1-9's not going to win, okay? So everyone's betting the next 11 horses, and the 1-9 goes off at even money because everyone else is trying to beat the 1-9, and the 1-9 goes box to wire. That's what it was.
Right. And you know what? We were judging. And you know what? Me, on the other hand, I said I had a lot of choice words for them as well, too. But I know just what you just said. They got the best talent and everything like that. And then you have a guy like Pop that can motivate you. People have to understand, Pop doesn't like things simple. You know what I mean? Pop likes to have some drama to things. That's how San Antonio was never a dominant force, in my opinion. They were good. They were a good little machine, but they were always a try hard. You know what I mean? They got to try really hard to beat you. But on those nights where they don't try really hard to beat you, you can smoke them by 20, 30 points at home and with the best record in the NBA. And Pop doesn't look at those games as the games and say, okay, this is where I got to get serious as a coach. No, you're going to get serious as a coach when it's time to chase the medal. You know what I mean? He was trying to get guys to know each other a little bit better. That's all that was. And you know what? I love the fact that guys put the ego to the side. They let Durant lead the way because Durant's been here before. And you know what? Everybody just kind of chimed in. But I think that the impact of Drew Holiday was huge for the USA team as well, too, just simply because he's a guy that's going to play both ends and he's going to be your point guard at the same time, too.
Well, and I'm going to say it this way. During their losing games, whether they were exhibitions or even, to start the tournament, okay, the funny part about this is then all of a sudden, why is Pops coaching? He's lost it. He sucks. He's not a good coach, okay? If anyone understands this part of it, you do, Pops, okay? When Phil Jackson was coaching Michael Jordan, when Phil Jackson was coaching Kobe and Shaq, and these teams that he was coaching were – getting a 17-0 run against them, and he's just sitting there with his hands across his chest and looking at the team. Everyone else is wondering why they haven't called the timeout 5 minutes ago. Why? Because he wants you to play through adversity. He wants you to figure this thing out on your own. You don't need him. And he did it perfectly. He had this blueprint from the start to finish. Shame on us. Shame on the trolls. There was no way they were going to lose this, Pops.
Right, and I think that honestly, the more team that was really, it was more surprising to see the women losing early, but they didn't start off with a good start because you know what? I don't think the WNBA did them any favors by having them play the WNBA All-Stars, who were 12 players that could have been. It was a doppelganger in a sense. So it's like the Spider-Man picture where Spider-Man's pointing at Spider-Man. You know what I mean? So you could have took either one of those teams to Tokyo to win a gold medal. You know what I mean? So pretty much they cruised through. Nobody said anything, but they've won their 8th gold medal in a row since 1996. You know what I mean? So much props to them as well too. And you know what? At the end of the day, Allison Felix, she didn't win a lot of gold medals, but she won a lot of medals just regardless, though. And she's one of the better team track athletes of all time. Much props to her on getting her 11th medal. It wasn't a gold medal; it was just a medal, but still, she got a medal, and that's what you guys that's what they show up for. So, all in all, I think that it was a very good Olympics for America. I just think that they were trying to create way too many stories out of nothing. Something about nothing. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they knew that the Team USA, once they blew somebody by 40 points, that they were back to normal. And once you saw that, pretty much that the way that this was set up for, say, the gymnastics in a sense, that homegirl just had a lot of pressure on her, and she just didn't show up the way that she was supposed to show up like she usually does. And I don't even think I wouldn't say she had any excuses or anything like that. It just wasn't her moment. It just wasn't like it was 4 years ago for her. It was already like going out there and you're seen as the 100 overall, and everybody's going to try to kind of poke things at you and do things with you. But at the end of the day, her star hasn't been damaged or anything like that. So she did well for herself as well, too. And tennis is tough. Regardless what anybody says, it doesn't matter how talented you are in tennis. Just have a bad day. I think tennis is the most human sport of them all. You know what I mean? Because if you're not having a good morning when you wake up, you're probably not going to have a good tennis game as well, too. You know what I mean? So pretty much that sport can go either way at any time, Jeff. So it is what it is. Olympics were great. And that's my final thoughts. You got any final thoughts before we move on to the next subject?
No, you nailed some great points there. Again, with Simone, in golf, they call it the yips. They call it the yips in baseball. I guess in gymnastics, they call it the twisties. And you look at some of her vaults or mountings and everything. She gets so high up there. If all of a sudden you're not confident and you're feeling uncomfortable, like you have an equilibrium problem or whatever it is, that is dangerous. You can slip, fall, break your neck or whatever. So right. She got up into one of those and it happened. I guess the twisties they're called. And that was it. And instead of trying to fight through it, she waved the white flag. And you know what it did, though? It promoted the rest of the team. It says, hey, right. out, it's your turn. And it gave some women the opportunity to take that plunge, and a lot of them shined. They had a great meet. They had a great Olympic. The one shocker, I guess you could say in the whole Olympics, right, was the U.S. women in soccer, right? I guess that would have been the only shocker.
At the end of the day, that was coming, Jeff, because that team's been way too controversial for the last 5 years, and they were all easily getting away with just winning games, 1-0 here and there, big games, things like that. And that game didn't go their way. It's that simple. And I was looking at the team play, and I said that they're going to have to make some replacements for 2024. It's not that these ladies are getting older. It's that you got to get people that are about to be focused on actually playing soccer for you and not trying to make everything a protest moment, not everything just a moment about them. And you know what I'm talking about, too.
Yes. I won't even give her the justification to say her name right now. How's that?
Right. because she kind of blew it for him this time around. You know what I mean? And it was already a lot of controversy for what happened in the World Cup and things of that nature. And then they weren't really that great in 2016 either, because didn't Brazil beat them? Didn't Brazil win the gold medal that year? So at the end of the day, this team is ready to repair itself, and that's exactly what it looks like to me. So let's go ahead and jump into our next topic at hand, and this should be a fun one, Jeff. This should be a real fun one. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame, baby. Canton, Ohio, very, very dear town city to me. That's where my mother grew up at and everything like that. My grandparents are, they're there as well too. But not in the present day with us, but you know what? I got a lot of memories with Canton. One of the memories of what I used to love about going out there during the summertime as a kid, I was always around for when the Hall of Fame game came around. They had the parade, all that good stuff. I'm talking about the old school stuff when they used to have a game on Saturday afternoon and they was done. It was done by Sunday. They started everything Thursday night, and ESPN didn't have the budget, and they didn't have an NFL Network yet, so you used to get to see the induction speeches, but you didn't get to see all the other hoopla that you get now to see. You know what I mean? And it's always been about the inductions. It's not, the game is just pageantry. That's for everybody just to enjoy a game. But I think that this one was probably the biggest one of them all. You had 19 different speakers, Jeff, and a lot of these guys are people's all-time favorite players of everything. These are guys who motivated them to play the game of football, and I thought that was absolutely incredible when you saw those type of players in there. But, you could argue and say that some guys maybe showed a little bit too much love here. I'm talking about some of the first-timers, because we all know that Megatron was a no doubt about it Hall of Famer, but there's been other guys that had to wait a little longer. You know what I mean, Jeff? You know what I mean? That had the same stats, all that good stuff. But I think that he was able to unlock the 9-year rule, which was Jim Brown and Gale Sayers. You were so damn good those 9 years that there's no doubt about it that they're going to put you in the Hall of Fame because you were never bad in the NFL. That's the whole thing. So they can't deny you. And but there are some guys in the Hall of Fame now that I kind of question, but if you made it, you made it, because that's on the writers and everything like that. But I know that just some people, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, so I'll just leave it at that. But you know what I'm talking about, Jeff. Guys who were posthumously, cut down during their career, stuff like that, and you throw them in there. We don't know if you would have really been a Hall of Famer or not, but we know that you had a Hall of Fame talent. You know what I mean? So pretty much that's what I'm looking at in a sense, but I was really happy to see that Tom Flores was in there. He finally got in there after a 30-year wait, Jeff? You know
Something
what I mean?
like that, yep.
And that was important for the Hispanic coaches that are thriving to be head coaches in the NFL and things of that nature. And I think that was one of the biggest travesties in Hall of Fame history. Pretty much, Tom Flores has to go in 2021, and he did all of his great work 40 years ago. That's not fair to me, but it is what it is at the end of the day. But then you got guys like Charles Woodson that get in, and it was more about his time with the Packers that ensured him getting into the Hall of Fame. The Raiders were the team that he loved, but at the end of the day, the Packers are the team that delivered the Hall of Fame for him because that's where he went nuclear, in a sense. You know what I mean? He was really good with the Raiders, but it was almost the end. He was almost a throw-in piece for the Packers. You know what I mean? We'll take a shot. We'll take the flyer on him because the Raiders have already worn him out. You know what I mean? So, Jeff, what are your thoughts on the Hall of Fame this weekend, man?
I mean, I'm looking at the 8 right now. I mean, Faneca had an amazing career. I say the same thing about Coach Flores. And then I looked at Drew Pearson. It took forever. I remember him when I was just a little kid, catching balls. I want to say from Staubach, White, all those guys. And then I'm looking, and what I'll call the big four. You are 100% correct. I was going to make mention, Woodson wearing, the Raider uniform, but I thought, his back nine, with the Packers was just where he basically cemented his Hall of Fame resume. Lynch was an amazing player. I mean, absolutely gave you 120% every game and was there, a motivator, a great locker room guy, a big part of Tampa back then. And then, you go to, Megatron, who I should have wore the shirt. I have one from the old fantasy days with Megatron, and he was just uncoverable. I watched him at Georgia Tech, and when he was at Georgia Tech, they threw the ball 10 times a game, and he was uncoverable. And he had an interview this week, I think on PFF it was. And when did you know that you were going to become this star? And he started talking about high school, and then he talked about college, and he really kind of chuckled when it was college, because they didn't throw, he didn't go to Ohio State where they throw it 25, 30 times a game. He didn't go to one of those schools. Then he comes to Detroit, and then he becomes Megatron. And then, of course, Peyton Manning. Living in New England, I had the pleasure, I'll use the word pleasure, of the Manning versus Brady. And I have to listen to every day how Brady is the GOAT, and the numbers. And I guess you want to go to rings. Yes, he outperformed Peyton Manning. But when Peyton Manning was Peyton Manning at the pinnacle of his career, there was never a bigger surgeon. That guy could just get up to the line. He's one of those guys that started getting up to the line, calling Omaha, stepping back in the shotgun, going back. You didn't know which way if you were coming or going. And glad, he got 2 rings finally, one with Indy, and then he goes to Denver and gets the second one, and the rest is history there. But overall, it was an amazing weekend. The Hall of Fame game was a dud, as we know, which we always know. But congratulations, to all 8 inductees, well earned and well deserved.
Right, and to piggyback off your point with Calvin, man, he's still in my top 5 forever of college football players I've seen take the field. Because I've never seen a college receiver get that little reps and still be able to be drafted number 2 in the NFL. And it used to just be absolutely nuts watching him and Woody Dantzler do what they did at Georgia Tech, because Georgia Tech was still a bad team at the same time. But Calvin just gave you hope that, hey, we're going to maybe get the over today in this game. But we're not going to have to use 95 triple option plays. And I remember that the way that they used to have to set up plays for him. It's the only guy I know that was able to get a max protection one-on-one where it's only him and the receiver it's only him and the corner on the outside and the safety playing center field, and he still burns both of them down. And then the crazy part about it was everything wasn't a fly route with him as well, too. They did set up blocks for him in the screen game, and he would destroy in that area as well, too. So it's just absolutely nuts with Megatron, man. And I just always feel like he was dealt a messed up hand because he had to play for the Lions.
Well, the funny thing about Georgia Tech is after Calvin Johnson left, and I don't know exactly. Demarius Thomas was right behind him, and so they went from Calvin. Listen, I'm not comparing Demarius to Calvin, but Demarius was one hell of a receiver too. And again, in that system, he shined. I could tell right away. I was like, wow, Demarius is going to be a star in the NFL, and he was. And you're right, Megatron dealt a tough blow. I think he was the initial start of the catch. He had that touchdown that, again, when he didn't complete the process. And we always go back to the Michael Irvin catch, and there's a handful of others ever since. But Calvin was always that big guy in the end zone, 2 guys draped on him, catch the ball, get 2 feet down. That should be a touchdown. But then they took it that step further, as you got to make another step, and then the rest is history.
And, I hated that day because, you know what, the Bears messed up an awesome parlay that was supposed to hit. I didn't take the Bears on money line. I took them on the spread. They were supposed to win the game by 7 points. They wound up winning by 3, but they struggled all day that day as well, too. So, don't always sleep on the Lions, man. They're gonna be very unpopular on opening day, but we'll talk more about that when we get to NFL Bet Exchange. I got some surprises for you this opening week. I've been looking at matchups, and I think that we're gonna have upset city opening week. I think people are gonna oversell certain teams. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a home jamboree for a lot of teams. But
I guess you're getting all that up then for Monday night too, then, huh?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Hey, that's going to be a huge game right there, and we'll see how that one goes for, football in Las Vegas and see if that's going to be a big night for the Raiders in a sense. And then we got Sunday Night Football over at the SoFi. You're going to finally have fans there. It's going to be rocking and rolling. It's going to be a big hype moment, and I think the prettiest stadium in all of football is going to be even prettier come opening night. So since we're talking football so heavily, let's go ahead and preview the Miami Dolphins. Now we got the Miami Dolphins coming back with Tua this year. They're saying Tua should be much better. Tua doesn't have a safety valve in the backup situation, in my opinion. I think that they're all in on what he's capable of doing and what he's supposed to be doing this year. But I really do think that this is going to be all about their coach being able to lead men like he did last year, but he's going to get them over the top this year. They're going to win 10 games or better. Once again, I think that this team actually makes the playoffs this year as well, too. And it's not going to be, and Tua will be a big portion of that, but I think what happens here is that Miami has bought into the same mentality as the Patriots from, yesteryear in a sense, where they remind me of the early 2000 Patriots where, or even the 97, 98 group, Jeff, where coach is just leading you through every unit, and every unit's going to have to perform at a high level for you guys to get to where you need to get to, but they will perform at a high level because you have the type of coach that's going to, ingrain that in you. Brian Flores is a tough guy, and I remember watching him play when he was at Boston College, and he's really a Northeast legend, and you know this, Jeff, so pretty much, I think that with him in Miami, it's the perfect fit for him, the way that he's coaching his team up. I think that bringing back Xavier Howard yesterday with no issue, where he still went to practice, that shows a lot that the guy wants to play for this team, but he just wanted you to get his money right. You know what I mean? So when guys don't come back for training camp and things of that nature, I just really feel like they playing hardball, but they really don't want to play for you. But if a guy still comes in there, he knows he's, everybody, well, he's going to get fined this amount of money. There's other guys that got fined a lot of money and still didn't show up for camp. But Howard showed up for camp to make sure that he wouldn't be behind, and then he got paid because that's what the promise was made to him. And, the Dolphins followed through on their promise, and that goes back to who your coach is as well, too, pressing the matter for you to make sure that this guy is signed. So that's why I say the Dolphins are in very good shape for now and the near future. Stop worrying about Tua. Just know that you have a great coach of men. And I think that they can step it up in any regard. Even if Tua is not going to be the guy to get them there, they'll still have a quarterback in place that will be very helpful with the process. That's my 2 cents on the Dolphins.
I'm going to mention one name to you, and I just want you to think about him and think about his career. You remember the guy by the name of Steve Young?
Mm-hmm.
Started with the Bucks, goes to the 49ers, takes over Joey Montana's, and the rest is history. Now, right. I'm not comparing Tua to Young just yet, okay? But they all have, Young couldn't throw it 80 yards down the field. He didn't have the strongest arm. He could throw some balls through tight windows, okay? So Tua, well decorated at Alabama, gets injured, goes to the Dolphins and plays 6 games with Fitzmagic on his right shoulder. Am I in, coach? Am I out, coach? Let's take it now. It's a whole new year. He's a year healthier. Brian Flores has created a team. He's created a buzz, and they believe, okay? I believe, period, end of discussion, okay? I am, I love they finally signed Howard. Now what that also does is put Bill Belichick and Bob Kraft on the clock because Stephon Gilmore now wants his money. So there's another great move by Miami. Offensively, they'll be fine. They got Waddle, who, again, I hope they don't rush because he was banged up, and I thought he was the best wide receiver of the class. Unfortunately, he was injured. Their running game, they can mix and match. I'm okay with that. Gesicki at tight end, I enjoy. I think he's going to have a big and better year. Defensively, they're going to be fine. Break down the division. Again, I'm not taking minus 150 on the Bills. The Patriots, is it Cam? Is it Mac? Is it going to be a dual QB situation there? I don't know. I know the Patriots are going to be a lot stronger as well. They'll probably be in the top 5 in the running game. They're going to run, and then run the 2 tight end set, and then come the Dolphins. So I think value-wise, Dolphins and Pats, who you like, I'm all in on the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs. I think, believe it or not, you can timestamp this at 3:38 on August 9th. I think they have a great opportunity to win the AFC East.
Agreed. I think, and just because simply coach of men. That's it. It don't matter who the quarterback is. This guy is going to be a great leader. And the Dolphins don't have decision making, right? They don't have to deal with the who's going to start here and who's going to start there. They already have everything situated, set up where exactly how they want it and exactly where they want it to be. So I do like that, and I think that that's not even a bold situation. I think that's a profitable situation if you're going to go ahead and bet it up on the Miami Dolphins to win the division. So Dolphins fans, you don't have to hang me by the stake because I know a lot of Dolphins fans, you don't have to beat up on me. I gave your team a lot of props, so it's on them to show up. It's on them, Jeff, to show up. So pretty much with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We're going to go ahead and talk about the Dodgers winning this weekend series, but we're going to get into the standings a little bit as well, too, because we got kind of a low day here. We got a major traveling day where literally every team in the MLB is traveling today, and they only gave us 5 games today, Jeff. I can't believe that, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So we'll be back in one moment. We'll be back in a moment. You guys stay tuned to the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and the Don of Cape Cod, Jeff Dawson, and we will be right back to you.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll Have Another, and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, Jeff, we are back. It looks like you had to bat away 3 waitresses. Would you like a drink, sir? Would you like a drink?
I got the swim trunks underneath, so I'm all set for the pool after. So
yeah, but don't worry about the $20 charge on the pool, man. They got to pay for all that stuff, man. Electricity. They run out of electricity. They open up the pool, I think, at 8 a.m. and they close it at 11 p.m. So, but it is what it is. I got a fun story about that. But Jeff, your story was funnier because you went on a low day. I went on a busy day. So you saw the difference. You know what I mean? So $400 for a lawn chair for the day bed.
And I get it. Listen, it's a mecca. I mean, anyone in our lanes, anyone that enjoys sports books, I love when I go to Vegas. I'll spend a handful of days at South Point. I'll spend a handful of days at the Strip. I make sure I get to Fremont Street and Old Vegas. And now all of a sudden you got this mecca built right there, and it costs money to build something like this, and I try to get it. But when you go into the mindset, like you said, $20, $40, $60, $80 to see the pool, well, you think yourself, some people must be thinking, well, shit, all right, I'll pay that. I'm going to swim all day. Well, no, that doesn't, that's a la carte. That don't get you your chair, your towel, your drinks, your food. Right. I mean, yeah, I love Derek. I love Mr. Benson. I love everyone over there. Veason right behind us. The guys do a great job. They keep us entertained all day, and it's a privilege to go there. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. They have two contests that are guaranteed $10 and $5 million. I mean, if you enjoy sports and you want weekly entertainment and you think you're sharp, got a hunch, bet a bunch. There you go.
Look, and one thing that makes it a very intriguing place to go to. Sorry to all the parents, cappers who are parents and things like that with little bitty children, because your kid can't come in there with you, man. 21 and up, ain't no exceptions. It don't matter who you are. If you ain't 21 and up, you outside eating brisket. You got to take the family over to the Golden Nugget or something, but you're not coming in to Circa at all. This is for grown folks and grown folks only. So that's the heads up for y'all right there who are going to Vegas. If you want to go to a hotel where you don't have to bring your kid, go to Circa. And people are lining up by the droves with that too. It's
hell yes.
So not to hear the baby that's sitting with mom in the casino, because you'll catch that over at other hotels. What's the baby doing in here? I'm old Vegas, man. Kids couldn't even be by a casino back when I was young. Like, you better be by that. You better be up in that room or be somewhere. And the Strip wasn't appealing like that.
No.
But it's all good now. It's all good. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We got the Dodgers feeling good about themselves. They went ahead and got themselves a good win yesterday. We had Bellinger homer twice. He's been struggling. Everybody's been asking when's he going to step it up, and he stepped it up yesterday. He got himself 2 homers. But Albert Pujols was the one for me yesterday. Second inning, he went ahead and hit him a nice little launching shot. And people don't understand, Albert Pujols is actually at 671 home runs all time. Absolutely amazing, and I feel like maybe he might be one of the most underappreciated superstars that baseball has ever seen. You know what I mean? Because he consistently been in the league for all this time, but literally the Angels dropped him off the face of the earth on being that guy, because they used to look at him like how they looked at Babe Ruth and DiMaggio and Ted Williams and things like that. They felt like he was the Dominican version of them. And I still feel like that he is. I think that, he went a little bit longer in his career, but you know what? That's because, he was brought up early in his career, and the guy loves baseball. So his love of baseball has probably been the best thing going for the Dodgers, because when he got to the Dodgers were still playing well, but they weren't separating in wins and losses the way that you would want them to. The moment that Albert gets into the locker room, into the dugout, there's guys that were in bad slumps that are now the best hitters on the Dodgers. Will Smith. Will Smith, that was his idol growing up. So, you get Pujols in there, and then it's not just about the hitters. Pujols puts confidence in the pitchers as well, too, especially young Julio Urias. Every time Julio comes back to the dugout after an inning, there's Albert right there talking to him, telling him he's doing good, telling him he's doing well, keep doing what you're doing, and keeping his spirits up. And I think that's been helpful for him in the long term, because he's now one of the better pitchers in the Dodgers rotation. Him and Walker Buehler run this rotation now. Clayton Kershaw, I love Clay, but he's a thing of the past right now until he steps it back in. Max Scherzer is a good option now that it's inevitable that Bauer's probably going to be out for the rest of the year. That's actually A1 stuff that you come up with because Bauer's really good, but he's no Mad Max. That, you know what I mean? So you got Mad Max confident, wanting to push them to another World Series. So you got all the right people in this locker room right now to make this big push. And as I told Mike last week, it doesn't really matter if they're going to win the West or be in the wild card. The Dodgers are going to be in the Final Four when it comes to, they're going to be in the NLCS regardless. You know what I mean? In my opinion. There's no way they're not in it. And they can get to the Giants right now because this is the time. Giants are going to breathe easy, and then things aren't going to go well for them. You know what I mean? And they still got time. Still got plenty of time. And don't worry, we'll talk about your Red Sox in a moment.
Oh, no. Let's start here. You know something? We've been talking about this now since April, May, June, July. We're 2 weeks into August, and every time we get to this segment, it's about catching the Giants. Before the season started, as the season started, mid-season, it was initially going to be a Dodger-Padre race. Dodgers win the West by 5, 6, 8, 9 games. Padres finish a close second. Then there's a gap. Who's going to get the other wild card? Well, Giants have gone box to wire. And we've talked week to week, and everyone's talking about it. When's the Dodgers going to catch the Giants? And listen, we said the same thing about the Red Sox on our show for weeks upon weeks. And listen, both teams are flying way the hell over their ski tips, okay? It's caught up to the Red Sox. The Red Sox, which we will talk about, once they did not get Rizzo, the Yankees got him, the bubble was popped. And it's been the perfect storm since. For you, I love Bellinger at 8. Your lineup is so long, okay? When you get to the third inning, okay, and the pitcher thinks he's got a breath of fresh air, and then you got 7, 8, 9, and there's Belly, and then the pitcher, and then next thing you know, it's Mookie and Trey Turner. Come on. This is an all-star team, okay? The one thing I would suggest, win the damn division. Because if you play in that wild card game, I don't care if you're pitching Warren Spahn, okay? Anything can happen in one game. I think you got the best team on paper, you got the best team on the field, and you got a front-end pitching staff that can match up with anyone. The back end scares the crap out of me. Gasterol isn't Gasterol. Kenley Jansen, do you feel comfortable with a tie or a one-run lead going into the ninth? No.
Nobody in LA feels comfortable with Kenley Jansen as closer.
Exactly.
Right now.
Exactly. So my point is, as the playoffs go and you get deeper, you tend to move a couple of those starters in. Bauer, you wouldn't want to be here. He's done for the year. I think there'll be some kind of clause probably in his contract if this keeps on going in the courts that maybe you're able to cut him. I don't know. Waive him. You don't owe him any money. You got Max now. You don't need Bauer. Trust me. But again, 22 games over. Nice win yesterday. You closed out our 3-leg. Buehler. He's been lights out. The guy that I thought he'd be. I love your team. I hate to say it. The Washington, I'd like to know what was said in the back room when they called up for Max. And they're like, well, this is what we want for Max. And next thing you know, well, how about throwing Trey Turner in too? And by the way, that deal was done very simply for this. Hey, Corey, you see Trey over there? You want to stick and stay? Here's what we're going to offer you. Otherwise, adios, amigos. Trey's moving to short and go to free agency, and best of luck.
Right, because it's nothing personal. It's just because Seager can't stay healthy. That's just the simple part about it. And the Dodgers don't want to overpay for somebody that's going to only play 40 to 50, 60 games a season. They can't really afford that. But you know what? If anything, though, if Corey Seager's on his way out, if I'm Seattle, I'm on the phone.
Seager and Seager.
Seager and Seager, like a good law firm. I'm telling you, because that's the player that can help the Mariners actually be relevant if they were able to get him. But we love Corey here in LA. Hopefully he'll stick around. But it is what it is, Jeff. Money be talking. Money be talking. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our games. But real fast, let's talk about the standings real quick. As you can see, the Red Sox went from being – it was all good just a week ago. Now they're down 4 games. But They're not even a big disappointment to me because I know that they have a bunch of games left with the Rays. The big disappointment to me right now is the Mets. The Mets were looking so good. 90 days in first place. The Phillies catch heat last week, did not lose a game last week. They won all 7 games they played last week. They swept the Nats and they swept the Mets. And they pretty much put themselves behind the 8 ball to really get rolling in this division. And I said I've been dogging them all year long, but now here come the Phillies. Here come the Phillies. Now finally Bryce is looking worth the price of admission. And then you got Atlanta breathing down your throat, but the Mets just literally are really hemorrhaging. They have a little bit of a hemorrhage right now. They are falling apart, in my opinion, to be dead honest with you, dude. And this is not good for the team from Queens, man.
They when I talked about the Red Sox and Rizzo, the same thing happened to the Mets once they had to push DeGrom back. He's like their every 5th day Energizer Bunny. They know what they're going to get. He's their enforcer. He knows he gets that team. He gets that city motivated. This Thor hasn't been around forever with the Goldilocks, and so what the Mets did is kind of what the Red Sox did. The Mets said, the hell with it. We got to jump in. We'll get Baez. No disrespect to Baez. They did that for Lindor. That's his best buddy. So you win games up the middle. And you got a Lindor and Baez up the middle. That's solid. But again, they don't have the depth in the pitching, and they have the Jansen problem just like you do with Diaz back there. And now a lead's not safe. It doesn't matter. You need to give the ball to someone that with a 1-run lead in the 9th, you can close out that game. And Diaz, again, is not that guy. You look at the teams that are shining right now, and they have that. And then in come the Phillies, now 2.5 games up. Chemistry, believing in oneself is what baseball's all about. Now, maybe, again, like the Red Sox and like the Phillies caught fire. Maybe they're peaking too early. The Red Sox peaked too early. It's a question of the Mets and the Red Sox. Can you restart the fire? The Red Sox are wheeling out Sale on Saturday. He'll be back. The Red Sox host the Rays for the next 3 games. We'll see what happens. But it's getting so interesting in the bases right now. And the sad thing is 2.5, 3 weeks from now, when they really heat up with 30 days to go, everyone's just going to be worried about football and forget about baseball.
Well, we'll be right here, Jeff. You know that. We're not jumping out of we're not jumping out the marathon. That's for the guys that don't know nothing about baseball. They bet the chalk every single day. Give me that -200 on the Yankees. The Yankees, nobody was making money off the Yankees in the first half of the season.
You want chalk? I'll give you chalk. Last 5 days in baseball, the favorites are 55-18.
Whoa.
How's that grabbing?
Well, I had a dog yesterday, the Royals.
I had the Royals.
2 dogs, and I put a 4-dog day parlay out. I had 4 dogs out there. We got 2 of them home. We got the Twins home yesterday, and who else did we get home yesterday?
Royals.
Yeah, we got the Royals were a part of it. That was a client thing, but Royals.
I had the Giants.
Got home.
Mariners?
Yeah. They owed me for Saturday. I had them at plus 175. They blew it. They was up 4-1, and they let the Yankees have a Yankee matinee game.
Hey, just in, your Knicks beat the Pacers 94-86 in Vegas.
94-86, yes, we needed it. And it's actually a client premium as well, too. So you guys, if you want to sign up for those great packages, you guys can go to primewavemedia.net, and you guys can go ahead and become a member of the team, sports investors and things of that nature. So you know what? We got the premium home, so everybody should be happy. And we got 3 more games to go for the rest of the day, Jeff. 2 in baseball, 1 more summer league game. And, yeah. That's what we're doing. But let's go ahead and get into the Battle of Ohio. And we got the Reds coming in red hot. But you know what? The Reds were playing against the Pirates all weekend. The Pirates are literally batting practice for a lot of teams. They're 41-71. We have a 61-51 Reds team that's actually, once again, like I keep saying, Jeff, could be the most dangerous team in baseball if they can really heat up. But they are 5 games behind they're 5 games behind the Brewers, and they're actually 6 games behind the Dodgers when it comes to trying to catch them as well too. So they're in a peculiar situation, in my opinion. I think that they came off of a really good week this week. They finished the week very well, and you know what? Even the Indians took care of their business in their spot against the Tigers this week. The Tigers have been a kind of a pain in their side recently, but they weren't a pain in their side for that game. So tonight we got Louis Castillo on the mound, 6-10, 4.09 ERA, 128 strikeouts, over 54 walks. Then you have Hintages here pitching for the Indians. He's 1-4 in the year, 7.86 ERA, 45 strikeouts, over 26 walks. So you know that you're going to get a big push on the Indians today against against the top 10 hitting team in baseball, which is the Reds. And the Indians are over here trying to kind of coil it in, but this is one of those games that are tricky, Jeff, and that's why you don't see the Reds pushing up to 200 yet. Not before we get to the first pitch, but they're leaving some things out there that this could be a wide open game, in my opinion. The Indians could possibly win this game because the Indians are in a race as well, too. When you look at the Indian stats right now, they're in the race with Chicago. They're 10.5 games back. I know I made it seem like they were but if they can get past 500, get a few games above 500, their confidence should be there. But it's going to be rough for the Indians, man. No Terry Francona. I don't know what to say about this team for the rest of the year. But in this game right here, I really do like the way that it sets up, though, if you are looking at the scoreboard on the over and under portion of this game.
Castillo has been great for us the second half. He caught fire for us. We've cashed a lot of first 5 tickets with him. When I was on the show this morning with Scotty, we talked about this game, and what I'll tell to the listeners here is this is what we call is a sandwich or a pancake game. Here's Cincinnati living high off the hog, sweep the Pirates. They have to travel today to Cleveland for a makeup game, and then look ahead and then travel to Atlanta for a 3-game set with the Braves. So, yes, Castillo's on the mound. Yes, it's a good spot for them, but will Cincinnati basically have their heads in this game knowing it's just a drive-by and we're heading really to Atlanta with a stopover in Cincy? With that said, we're seeing 67% of the bets, 90% of the money all on the Reds. Castillo versus Hentages opened at 161, currently at 176. Tickets money moving the right way. Your over opened at 9.5 is now a 9.5 minus 106 over. 37% of the bets, 95% of the money all on the under. I was high on Castillo first 5 today, minus the hook, minus 125. I'm starting to back off a little because of the pancake game here. I got a news update for you. Let me just weather alert. No chance of rain. 90s. There it is. 11 miles an hour, wind blowing straight out. So be careful on the under there just because the wind's blowing dead out. It's a game for us, again, a 5-game short menu. This is was going to be a play since the first 5 for us. Currently we're passing, but it's a great game.
All right. So we move on to our next one. And, man, this has been the reason why the Cubs ain't good this year. The Brewers have absolutely just slam-dunked them, slam-basted them, body slammed them all over the Central this year. Every time they put these two teams against each other, here we go with the Cubs just getting absolutely pulverized. So I don't think that it's going to be any different today, to be honest with you. I think that once again the Brewers should be really good money here. Again, and I think the Brewers actually absolutely can run away with this game, to be dead honest with you, Jeff.
Peralta's been great for us. Mills is just your average pitcher here. I'm looking again here at the weather. I want to make sure there's no rain there. It's probably a wind related again for you. Yeah, wind blowing straight out, 10 to 11 miles an hour. There is a chance of rain early, 45% first pitch and 35% second at 9 and 24 at 10. So be careful there. Those start and stops could be dangerous. With that being said, Milwaukee opened at 200 now, minus 193. 84% of the bets, 89% of the money, all on the brouhahas. Yet the lines dropped 7 cents. So there is some reverse line movement there. Just be careful. The favorites have been rolling in. So we're overdue for some dogs barking. Some little sharp money coming in on the Cubs, brother.
All right. So we have that there. I don't want to talk about this long because I tried with the Cubs this weekend, Jeff. I think I took them every single day this weekend, and they just were disappointing. My best day was Friday. We had a possible way of almost winning that game, and they messed that up. Then Saturday, they messed that up. And then yesterday, just forget about it. I don't even think the right team showed up to Wrigley yesterday, so it is what it is. We move on. Let's go ahead and get into the Yankees at the Royals. And the Yankees and Royals, this is always a tricky spot for the Yankees because they go into Kansas City thinking that, they're going to just beat the brakes off of the Royals, and the Royals always figure out a way to compete, stay in the game, make you some money. And I think tonight the Royals deserve every inkling of me putting them as the dog of the day today. They're going against Tolleson, a pitcher I don't really trust, and Carlos Hernandez should be decent today. And I think that what happens is that Kansas City figures out the way to score some runs and get themselves a good win today, Jeff. I think that Kansas City takes care of their business. That's why I'm as my dog of the day. What are you thinking?
Yankees in the back of my mind have always had trouble with the Royals. To go back to the Willie Wilson, the George Brett days, the Brett Saberhagen days. I remember those real good, and they just always seem to struggle. And they're coming off a loss where Kukoc really shut them down. Seattle did at home. Now they got to travel to Kansas City. You would think they'd wake up. They've been winning every series since the break, since the trade deadline. Today they opened up minus 169. 58% of the bets and only 38% of the money coming in, yet they've gone up to 172. It still is a big public play, but sharper heavy money is coming in on the Royals. The under-over opened at 9.5, over 112. It is now moved up to 10, under 103. 62% of the bets on the over, but 70% of the money on the under, and it still went up by half. If you shop, nope. Your Vegas strip was all showing 10 too. So again, mindset, Yankees, offense, Royals. That's all you got to think about. The sharper side today is the Royals. Talion has been pitching better. I don't know how much they're going to get out of Hernandez. 2, 3, 4 innings, then go to the bullpen. The Royals were good to us yesterday with a nice come-from-behind win against the Cardinals. I like your thinking here. I think the Royals are definitely a live dog today.
Let's move on to our next matchup in the AL Central, and it's going to be between the Sox and the Twins. And the Twins play awesome this weekend. They absolutely beat up on the Astros. They've won 3 out of 4, Jeff. They took 3 out of 4 this weekend, and here we go again. Astros, the worst minus 200 team or better in the league. You cannot trust them at all. At all. And the Twins came in there and actually had some games going back and forth with them. They didn't one-side them like the Orioles did. The Twins actually were, showing signs of losing, but they just still wound up winning the game. So, shout out to the Twins for that, man. They killed it this weekend. So if you bet the Twins this weekend, you made some money.
The Twins were our kryptonite this year. In the preseason report, I was not high on the Twins. I thought there would be some regression. I definitely was in on the White Sox. I thought Cleveland would put together a better team that they did, and the Royals, of course, being the Royals. Now, with that being said, since the All-Star break, the Twins found a way to all of a sudden they're winning again. They trade Nelly Cruz to Tampa, but they're winning. Excuse me. They're not just winning games; they're winning series, and they were huge dogs all weekend. They win the series tonight. Now they're hosting the White Sox, and the White Sox, I think, probably got a great chance to be in the final two in the American League to see who goes to the World Series this year. One of their better pitchers, Giolito, on the mound. You don't know which Jeets you're going to get, the good or the bad. Well, he opened up today at minus 182. 79% of the bets, 85% of the money, all on the White Sox. It's gone from 182 to 190. And Minnesota Burrows, not Joe Burrows, the quarterback for the Bengals, but B. Burrows for the Twins. Your under-over opened up at 9.5, is now 10 with 34% of the bets, but 90% on the under. So that, too, has gone to 10 at Pinnacle. But if you go to Vegas and your strip, it's 9.5 across the board. Again, I've stayed away. Minnesota's been on our DMP list for a while. I know on paper, White Sox look like the play today. I just want you to be careful. Again, ESPN game, late game, then travel into town to Minnesota. You don't know what time they got there. And it's one of these games where we're probably going to sit and watch as well.
Yes, sir. And I think that this game winds up being one that I'm going to trust the Twins a little bit here. I think the Twins can keep this game close. I think they're feeling pretty good, and they got some good momentum coming into this game. You know what I mean, Jeff? You know, the Sox kind of just went against, you know, it means a lot when the Sox get to just stomp out the Northsiders. You know, they really go about, like, you know, even when the Sox aren't good, they can always beat up on the Northsiders. Even when the Northsiders are winning World Series and being a top team in the MLB, they always know that the White Sox can come over there, and it's always going to be a fist fight with them. And it usually doesn't work out well for the Northsiders.
Agreed.
Know, it's hard times on the South Side. It's hard times on the South Side, brother. You know, so it is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and get into the nightcap. It's going to be the Padres and the Marlins. Marlins coming in here, biggest dog of the day. They were at plus 200 when I was dealing with the spread last night, but overnight they jumped up to about 230. I see them going off at possibly plus 250. I feel like the Padres will be a monster overbet, but a good overbet because you got Musgrove on the mound.
You know, Musgrove, we talked on the show this morning. I said Musgrove has just not been the Musgrove from the beginning of the season, from the no-hitter to the guy cruising. He's been average at best, but I have to agree with you in this regards. Overnight opened at 211, currently 248 at Pinnacle, and all across your Vegas strips at Westgate Circuit and Caesars, currently at minus 250. 74% of the bet, 84% of the money, all on the Padres. Your under-over opened at 7.5, is currently at 7.5. Your bets, 57% of the bets are on the over and 56% of the money on the under. So kind of a 50-50 split, bets and money. It was juiced over minus 111, now is juiced under minus 115. A little heavier money coming in on the underside. Again, San Diego in must-win situations. They haven't been consistent. No Tatis. They need length from their starters, and they're not getting it. So they're expecting a low game here score-wise. Tough to call on our side. On paper, I lean, obviously, Musgrove. Miami's one of those scrappy teams. They hang around, and if they can catch a break or two, they find a way to win. But I would lean San Diego here, Pops.
All right. And it's that time, Jeff. Let's go ahead and jump into talking tickets. All right, tonight my tickets are going to look like this. I know that this isn't what people are going to probably have when they do the tickets, so don't be all swarmy about things, you know what I mean? Because this line, it's the stock market. The line is going to change. It's going to change until we get off, till the game goes off. And, you know, the 9.5 opened up for the Reds and Indians. It's been bet down. because a lot of people feel like this will probably be a one-sided Reds win, but won't go over. It'll be a controlled Reds win somewhat, but we'll have to see because it's the Battle of Ohio. Then I got the Brewers today, -1.5. It's just because I can't trust the Cubs right now. Cubs got to figure out a way to take my money, and you know what? If they take my money, then you know what? Hey, it is what it is. They can come back into the house, but right now they living in the doghouse, so I can't deal with them today. And then I got the Royals, who've been bet down from the early. I wouldn't say big money, but we know it's middling, Jeff. +145 is when let's get to talking about some good dogs. You know what I mean? Because if we're over here and saying, yeah, I got +120, that's almost like having a plus even money. You know what I mean? What, I'm just getting a couple extra bucks. But once you start getting to the 145 category and everything like that, if you're betting it for real, where you're throwing up some real money, then yeah, things start working themselves out a little bit differently. You know what I mean? So pretty much I love the Royals today. I know that they're not a big price that they were earlier when I put in the bet, but it's fine. And then we got the Twins +1.5. And then I'm going to take the under with the Marlins and the Padres. The Marlins just haven't been able to score runs like that lately, and the Padres been in the same boat.
Looking at your tickets here, and I'll tell you this, especially when you're putting parlays together, your 40-1 is off right now because your Royals on your Vegas Strip, Westgate Circuit, and Caesars currently right now, you're getting your Royals at +160. So that's going to jump that ticket up right there. Again, right. You talk about this, and people have to understand this, okay? It's a swing. You're not going to run to the window and put a nickel, to make 20 grand on this ticket. It's something for action. It's something where, again, if you get 3, 4 out of 5, hey, listen, I always talk about this to my clients, Pops, you got the Padres game as your last wheel on this. And so if you're winning the other 4 games they've already won and you're sitting comfortable, there's an easy hedge spot and opportunity going into that Marlins Padres game. And always remember this, if you're in a book or you have a sports book with a situation for live betting, you got the first 4 home and you're waiting for the last one, always cover that bet. If you put 100 on it and you got 4-0 and waiting on the 5th one, put a couple hundred on the other side to guarantee you a little winning day. And if it comes in, it comes in. But I like where your head is. I think you got some great opportunities here, and I wish you all the best, my brother.
All right, quick news for the Yankees. Torres has been put on the 10-day IL with a thumb injury. So all Yankee bettors, y'all got to go ahead and put that in your notes tonight that one of their better hitters will not be a part of the game tonight. But at the end of the day, we all know it's a Red Sox-Rays war, and the Red Sox better get to the table because the Rays, the funnest team in baseball, is just moving a mile, is moving fast, like a big time, like a grand champ over at Gulfstream. So our Tampa Bay Downs.
And I said something to Scotty. He's from Tampa, and everyone's talking Yankees, everyone's talking Jays because they're on fire. No one's talking Rays. Okay, the Rays were there last year. They have the pedigree. They know how to win. No one's talking about them. Okay, they just keep winning. They lost one of their best pitchers, and they didn't miss a beat, and now they're extending the lead. Be interesting to see which Red Sox team shows up for the first 3 here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But you're spot on, Pops, as always.
Yes, sir. All right, Jeff. You're always on the money as well, too, brother. Hopefully, if everything works out, because we have a big fight. We got a fight going on Saturday in Carson with Casimiro and the legendary Rigondeaux, Mr. Cuba. You know what I mean? Cuban amateur legend, all that good stuff. So it's going to be a really good fight because Casimiro is a lot of people feel like he may be the second coming of Manning because the power that he bestows and things like that. I don't think he'll ever be up at 147, 154 fighting guys, but he does have a lot of power. So it's going to be a good fight. So I'm actually credentialed for that one. So I should be around Friday, but hopefully get you on Friday. It's just a weigh-in on Friday, but I don't want to miss the press conference, but the weigh-in, whatever. You know what I mean? So pretty much it is what it is. I thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys can go ahead and catch Jeff over on the Twitter at EC Sports Invest, and you guys can also follow him on Facebook under Jeff Dawson. You guys can follow him on Instagram, East Coast Sports Investors. Man, great content. That's where his great shows at as well too. So you guys don't miss that morning money, man. Jeff got you guys right. When you walk right into Jeff is the guy. When you walk into the book, that's who's waiting for you.
Hey, listen, for you West Coast guys, we're trying to get this going on our side anywhere from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., 11. We're looking for the sweet spot, honey hole. But listen, nothing better than the breakfast bankroll while you're sitting there eating your Cheerios and you got your glass of OJ. And, hey, listen, if you can't listen live, you can go even to Twitch at East Coast Sports Investors or our YouTube station at East Coast Sports Investors. The videos are up there. Catch anything that you like. If you have any questions, DM us. We'll answer any questions. If you got questions on games going on or about to go on, you're at the book, give us a call. We'll try to help you out. Hope you cash a ticket or two.
Yes, sir. All right. Sounds good to me. So with that, this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Anglers Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and with the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson, and we are gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.